Welcome back to the Cozy Rosy Crochet channel, and today I am sharing with you the final and 8th square from the Cable Comforts Heritage 8 to create your very own beautiful heirloom sampler at the heart of the Cable Comforts collection. Each unique cable square showcases a different motif, from bold braids to delicate twists, designed to challenge and inspire you to create with confidence. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and of course the notification bell so you never miss out on another one of my crochet patterns or tutorials again. If you are new to crochet cables, do not be put off with how complicated they look. Crochet cable stitches are simply made using post stitches, and it's how and where those posts are placed that creates the intricate cable patterns. Every even numbered row in the squares is just a row of US single crochets or UK doubles, so you get a little reprieve after each row of post stitches. I will be using US crochet terms throughout this video. You will find a link in the description box below to view the written pattern for this square on my website, or you can opt to purchase the ebook, which is available with both US and UK terms that contain all 8 of the written square patterns, detailed crochet cable charts, and additional photo tutorials too. Plus you'll also get all of the stitch multiples to transform these squares into individual blankets. The finished size of this square is 9 inches, and to create your own Heritage 8 blanket you'll need to make 3 of each of these squares. You can of course opt to make it your own and create more or less of the blanket squares that you love. Now the materials that I'm using for this tutorial and for my blanket is this Starcraft Special Aran, which is shade Silver, which is number 1203. Now this is an Aran weight yarn and has a recommended hook size of 5mm, and that is the hook size that I'm using today and for all of my squares. If you are a tight crocheter, I would recommend going up just 1 square. It is quite a firm blanket, but it will loosen up once you block these squares. But again, if you need to go up a hook size, it will make making those tight cables a little bit easier for you as well. Just use the same hook size for all of your squares. You're also going to need a darning needle and a pair of scissors just to snip off those ends once we've woven them in. You're going to need between 90 and 100 meters per square, which is about 100 to 110 yards. So gather all of your materials and let's get started. I would say that this is probably one of the most challenging squares in this blanket, mainly because of working the subsequent rows of crochet cables, making sure that you're working into the right post stitch. But don't worry, I'm going to take you through this step by step so that you can complete this project with confidence. So I've already placed my slip knot onto the hook, and we're going to begin by making a chain of 33. That's 1, 2, 3. Once you have your chain of 33 stitches, I'm going to encourage you to turn your chain over and work into your back bumps. And beginning with the second chain from hook, or the second back bump, we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each chain across. At the end of row 1, you should have a stitch count of 32 single crochets. At the end of row 1, you should have a stitch count of 32 stitches, and that stitch count is going to remain the same throughout this square. Every row should end with 32 stitches. For row 2, we're going to make a turning chain of 1 and simply work 1 single crochet into the same stitch as our chain 1 and each stitch across. So we're going to maintain that stitch count of 32 at the end of row 2. So at the end of row 2, you should still have your stitch count of 32 stitches. And for row 3, we are going to be setting up this Intertwined Twists cable pattern. We're going to start row 3 with a chain of 1. We're then going to work 1 single crochet into the same stitch as our chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Now this square uses my favourite cross for the kind of frame of this pattern, and that is the front post double crochet left cross 3. It is a cross of 3 different stitches worked over 3 stitches. So we start by yarning over the hook. We're going to skip that next stitch and work around that next post. So this is the post stitch for the stitch we've just worked. We're skipping the next one and working around that next post just underneath that stitch there. So we're going to insert from the edge, you can count it. So you've got your turn there, 1, 2, 3, and we're working around that 4th post. Inserting from the front, out the front, yarn over to bring your loop up, pull through 2 and pull through 2. So that's the first front post double crochet of this stitch. We're then going to work another front post double crochet around the next post of the single crochet 2 rows below. And then to cross back and complete that 3 cross, we're going to work back around the post that we skipped. So we yarn over the hook and we're going into the side of the stitch or around the post from the front, out the front, we yarn over, bring our hook up, pull through 2 and pull through 2. Now it doesn't even look like much, but you're going to get these beautiful ridges all the way up. It's quite an interesting twist, this one. Now because we have worked 3 post stitches, we need to make sure that we are skipping 3 stitches behind. So 1, 2 and 3, and this will be our next stitch that we work into. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So that was number 1 and that's number 2. We're then going to work 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 posts 2 rows below. So this is the post of the stitch we've just worked. So we've done 1, 2 single crochets, and this is the next post to work. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook from the front, out the front, and work that next front post double crochet. We're then going to work a second around that next post. So we yarn over, insert around the post from the front, out the back to complete that front post double crochet. We're going to skip 1 stitch for each post that we've worked and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're then going to work a front post left crossed 4. So we're going to be working in pairs but crossing those 2. So we're going to yarn over ready. So this is the post of the stitch we've just worked and we need 4 posts to work around. We're going to skip 1, skip 2 and work around that 3rd post initially. So from your last post stitch, we're going to skip, from your last post that we worked, which is here, we worked 1, 2 single crochets. We're then going to skip 1, skip 2 and work around that next post here. So we're going to work 1 front post double crochet around that post there. Going to work a second front post double crochet around the next post. We should be looking a little bit like that. We're doing a left cross, which means that we're working in front, and we're going to work back over these 2 skipped posts. So we're going to work around the first one and then work around the second one. So we yarn over, get ready to work around that first post. You probably didn't see what I did there, sorry. All I'm doing is, because it is a left cross, we're going to fold down in front. So we're working in front and ahead of our project. So we're going around that post, the first one that we missed, and that leaves that last post that we haven't worked around to work around. So we yarn over, go around that last post that has not been worked to complete that left cross 4. It's going to look a right mess when you first do it. You're like, oh my God, what is that? But if you were to hold it straight, you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and those posts that we worked are just underneath that we've just made. Because we've worked 4 post stitches, we need to skip 4 stitches, and then we're working 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Doesn't look like much, but I promise you it will look beautiful very, very soon. So we're going to repeat that once again. So we've worked a single crochet for this post here, and we're going to work 1 front post double crochet around the next 2 posts. So this one's been worked. We're going to work a front post double crochet around the next post. So that's 1 and 2. To double check yourself, you should have 2 unworked posts in between your cross and your next 2. We've got 1, 2, 1 post, 2 post. We're going to skip the 2 stitches behind and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, And then we're ready for that fun front post double crochet, left cross 4. So it's worked over 4 stitches. So this is the last post that we worked. So you want those 4 stitches. We're going to skip 1, skip 2, and front post double crochet around that next one. And then we work a second front post double crochet around that next post stitch. We're going to cross back in front around the first one that we skipped, and then we're going to work around the second one that we skipped. So this is the first one that we skipped here. So we're going to insert our hook and work that first of the cross, and then we need to go back around that final one that we skipped, and we are working in front because it's a left cross. Lovely. So we've done 4 post stitches, so we need to skip 4 stitches at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Now that leaves us with 5 stitches remaining. We're then going to work that left cross 3 across the next 3 posts. So we're going to skip the first one. This stitch counts for this one. We're going to skip this stitch here and work around that next post. I've just made that look worse. So that's that one we've worked. We're going to skip this one and go around the next post with that front post double crochet. We're going to yarn over, work around that next post stitch for the second of those 3 stitches, and our final post gets worked around that post that we skipped. So we yarn over, come forward, and work around that final post that we skipped. That should leave us with 2 stitches remaining, and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch. It's not going to look like much right now, but I promise you it's going to be beautiful. Going into row 4, we are going to be making a turning chain of 1, and we're simply working 1 single crochet into each stitch across, but we do need to take care that we get every single stitch. Where we work our crossed stitches, some may be bigger, some may be smaller, just because of the tension we put on our stitches. See how small that stitch looks? But it's really important that we don't miss it and that we work the stitches in order. So you can just straighten out your stitches, make sure they look like they are where they're supposed to be, and make sure that you're maintaining your stitch count of 32 single crochets, or 32 stitches at the end of each row. So continue on with row 4, working 1 single crochet into each stitch across, and I'll meet you for row 5. So at the end of row 4, you should have 32 stitches, and you should be able to see those stitches that you skipped from the previous row. Try not to worry, they will not look obvious once your square is finished. So row 5, we are going to start with a turning chain of 1. All our cable rows start the same. We work 1 single crochet into the same stitch as our chain 1, and then 1 single crochet into the next before working our left cross 3. So because there are 3 stitches, we have to pick them up in a certain order, and we're going to start by picking up that middle one here. Not the easiest one to grab, so I shove my hook through the middle of the stitch, straight through both of the cables, and I lift that first cable off. Of course, it would have helped if I'd yarned over first, so we'll do that again. You can bend your project just to make sure that you've got the right stitch, but I just find it easier just to start with it all on my hook and take that first post stitch off. We're then going to work around that middle one first. We're then going to work around the front post, the loop that's at the front. The final post stitch to work is sometimes hidden underneath if your crochet is a bit tight. So I just kind of put my thumb on top of those stitches we've already worked and push my finger through so that last post pokes up and we can work around it easily. And this is what creates that beautiful loop across the front. We've worked 3 post stitches, so we need to skip 3 stitches at the back, and then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2. We're then going to work around these 2 post stitches working one front post double crochet around each of the next 2 posts. Nice and simple. We're then going to skip the next 2 stitches and we're going to work around the next 2 front posts. I wish it was these ones that were just here on the front. It's not. It's these ones that are tucked behind. So again, I just make it a bit more obvious of where they are and bring them out by pushing behind the fabric. So we're yarning over the hook. We've got 2 posts here because these are the next 2 stitches that we need to work around. So bring them up, put your hook under and work one front post double crochet around each of the next 2 posts. There is not an easy way of grabbing these. There we are. I'm going to check I've done that right. I think I'm a little bit high. Hang on. You see how you've got that little lump there? We want to avoid underneath there. We need to pick up. Oh, this is not the easiest one. What's catching me is that extra loop there. I don't want that. There we are. So it might be a bit fiddly that, but it should look like they're coming out from behind these 2. So we've worked a front post, we've skipped 2 and worked around those 2 post stitches. So we've done 4 posts in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we need to work into the next 2 single crochets. I'm just going to insert my hook and double check myself that I've skipped the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I haven't. I've skipped too many. This is why we check. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want that stitch, but my yarn is in the way. Just move that out of the way for a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the stitch I want. Triple check myself again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just until we get used to the positioning of these stitches, we're working a single crochet into that one and the next. The positioning of those stitches is quite important, which is why I'm double checking myself. So we've got 1 there, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've skipped 1 stitch for each of those post stitches. And then we are going to work a front post double crochet around each of the next 2 posts, 2 rows below. That seems so simple in comparison. Don't worry, we get to do this twice. So it should look a bit like this. So you've got 2 single crochets in between these post stitches now and no single crochets between those 2. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and we should have 2 skipped behind, and I can't see. I did it automatically, skip 2. And then we're going to repeat it all again. So we start with working 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 post stitches. So that's 1, that's the easy bit, and that's number 2. So 1, 2, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches and we're working around these posts behind these 2 here. So I'm going to move them out of the way and just push these posts up so I can find them. So there's the first one, there's that second one. Do the first one first of all. That one's always a little bit easier. Work a front post double crochet around that one and then the same around the next one. So we have 4 post stitches in a row, 1, 2, 3 and 4. I know it's that stitch I need. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure the yarn is at the back to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2, and then we work 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 post stitches 2 rows below. There we go. Skip 1 and 2 for the 2 post stitches we've worked, 1 and 2, and then we're single crocheting into each of the next 2 stitches. At this point we should have 5 stitches remaining, ready to work that fun front post left crossed 3. So we're aiming for that middle post first of all, so we yarn over, pick up that middle post however you see fit and work your front post double crochet around that middle post. We then work around the front post out of the 3, and our final one is just tucked behind that we need to pick up. 1, 2, 3, we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches. So that's where we are at the end of row 5. Once again, we're going to repeat row 4, and we just need to work a turning chain of 1 and 1 single crochet into the top of each stitch across. Do take care where those stitches have been crossed, so that you're making sure you pick up every single stitch in the right order, and you're working a total of 32 stitches. Making sure that you've got your total stitch count of 32 stitches with row 7. We begin with a turning chain of 1. We work 1 single crochet into the same as our chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the next. We're then going to work our front post double crochet left cross 3. We're aiming for that middle post. I can never get it, so I just take that top one back off and work that 1 front post double crochet around there, 1 front post double crochet around that front loop or the front post double crochet, and then that's the one that's hidden behind we need to get for number 3. And already you can see how beautiful this twist is. We are going to skip those 3 stitches, for 1 for each of the posts we just worked, before working 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're then going to work a front post double crochet right cross 4. So the first thing to note is it is a right cross, so we are crossing behind. That's a challenge in itself, but we're also going to work across 4 stitches, and it is each of these 4 posts. So we're going to work number 1, number 2, and then we're going to cross from behind number 3 and number 4. So yarn over ready, because the first 2 are nice and simple. We're going to skip those 2 and work around that first post there for number 1. We're going to yarn over. This is number 2 next to the one we've just worked. And we are right crossing, so that means we're going to have to come from behind. So yarn over the hook, we're coming from the back. So from the back, come down, pick up that first post, and I bring it up towards me just so I can see it. So you've got everything folded down, so this post stitch is going to end up behind. Let me do that again for you. So with a front cross or a left cross, we come down over the front of our project. When we're doing a right cross and we cross behind, once we've yarned over, we're going to come behind the stitches we've just worked and pick up that post from behind. It is not fun, but they do create the most beautiful cables. Pull through 2, pull through 2. You notice that I'm turning my work to complete that stitch. It's just the easiest way for me to do it. So that's the first one done. Now we need to pick up this second post stitch from behind. So the easiest way I find is to find out where we're coming through, put your hook through first, find the cable, and then I angle it back up. So the cable's on the hook, the post stitch is on the hook, and I bring it up, yarn over, bring my loop up, pull through 2 and pull through 2. When you straighten that out, you see the beauty of what you've just created. So a right cross is crossing behind, and you can see that that leaves the 2 that we've just worked first on top of our project. So we have worked 4 post stitches, so we're going to skip 4 stitches and then work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My finger is already on it, so that's 1 single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next. I'm going to triple check. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wonderful. All that's left to do is to work 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 posts 2 rows below. So that's 1 and 2. Skip 1, skip 2. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we're ready to start that repeat again with that front double crochet right cross 4. These are so long, these stitches, sorry. So just as a reminder, we are going to work number 1, number 2, cross from behind for number 3 and number 4. So yarn over ready and pick up number 1, which is not 1, not 2, but this one over here. We're going to work 1 front post double crochet around there, another front post double crochet around the next. We are then going to yarn over and cross from behind to pick up this cable, that first of the 2 that we skipped. So from behind, we're going to come past the cables, angle it and bring that cable up to your hook, yarn over, bring your hook back through, should have your 3 loops, pull through 2 and pull through 2, that's the first. Then we need to work around that post, so we yarn over, we're coming from behind, so it's behind those the posts we just worked, get the cable onto your hook and then move those posts out of the way to complete your stitch. Ah, it fell off. That was just there. Wonderful. So we've worked 4 post stitches, so we need to skip 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2. Triple check myself. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we just need to work 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 post stitches 2 rows below. There we are, the worst is over for this row. We're then going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We should have 5 stitches remaining, and we're working our front post double crochet left cross 3 again at the end of this row. They all start and end the same way, so you're going to love this little twist by the end, and you won't even have to think about it, as long as you know which order you're working in. The middle one, the front one, and then the one that's hidden underneath. We should then work 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches, and it couldn't look less straight if we tried, but that's what those crosses do, it's just pulling it down. We're going to do row 8, which is a repeat of row 4, so a turning chain of 1, 1 single crochet into the same as your chain 1 and each stitch across, taking care to work into each stitch to ensure that you maintain your stitch count of 32 stitches. That row of single crochets really helps to straighten out those twisty rows. Going into row 9, we start with our turning chain of 1. We work 1 single crochet into the same stitch as our chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the next, ready to work our front post double crochet left cross 3. So we're aiming for that middle stitch or that middle post. I'm going to cheat every time because it just makes it quicker than fighting with my crochet. So the middle one is number 1, number 2 is the one that's on top, and the third front post is hidden behind. There we go. We have worked 1, 2, 3 post stitches, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So we're going to work 1 front post double crochet into around each of the next 2 posts 2 rows below. So these are our next 2 stitches, and these are the posts associated with it. So they're on the top. So we're going to yarn over and work a front post double crochet around that first one. We're going to work a front post double crochet around the next post, and that continues that line up. We've worked 2 post stitches, so we're going to skip 1 and skip 2 before working 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're then going to work 1 front post double crochet, I'm laughing because I find this bit challenging as well, around each of the front post double crochets here, the ones that are behind. So they are there, I have to fold them up. So you've got 1 and 2. When it's flat, you can't really see them. Without breaking my nail any further, if I push them up, we can see them a little bit there. Don't be afraid to pull your crochet about to find what you need to see. So once we've yarned over, I've got 1, I've got 2. So I'm going to cover up number 2, insert my hook under that first front post double crochet, hiding. So that's 1. And then there's the second one, and front post double crochet around that one. We're going to work a front post double crochet around the next 2 front post double crochets 2 rows below, or the post stitches. So we've worked 4 front post double crochets in a row, so we need to skip 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and we're ready to repeat that all again. So these are the front posts. These are the post stitches on the front. So we're going to work 1 front post double crochet around each of those. So that's 1 and 2. We've worked 1, 2 front post stitches, so going to work a single crochet into each of the next 2, leaving 2 stitches behind unworked. And then we're working around these post stitches, working a front post double crochet. So find them first, push them up if you need to. So we yarn over, come under and pick it up. It should be looser than that. There we go. One front post double crochet around that one. There's number 2 next to it. I'm going to go under and work that next front post double crochet, and then we're going to work a front post double crochet around each of these next 2 post stitches 2 rows below. 1 and 2. Perfect. So we've actually worked 4 front post double crochets in a row, so we need to skip 4 stitches, and my eyes are going funny. Dearie me. There's 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to single crochet into each of the next 2. 1 and 2. You can always double check yourself that you've skipped 4 again. 2, 3, 4, if you're not sure. And then we're working our front post double crochet left cross 3 at the end of this row once again. So find that middle post first of all. I am cheating. There we are. So that's 1. Then we go under the front of these posts. And finally, we want that post under there. We have worked 1, 2, 3 post stitches. There are 2 stitches remaining, and we are working 1 front post. No, we're not. We're working 1 single crochet into each. Once again, we're left with a wobbly line, but you can see how it creates these overlapping intertwined twists, hence the name of the square. At the end of row 9, you should still have a stitch count of 32. Before you go into a repeat of row 4, please do double check your stitch count. For row 10, once again, we are repeating row 4. So a chain of 1 and then 1 single crochet into each stitch across. We're making a turning chain of 1. And we are working the beginning of our row as normal. So 1 single crochet into the same as that chain 1. 1 single crochet into the next, and then we have our front post double crochet L3. So find that middle front post to work 1 single front post double. We're working a second front post double around that front facing loop, and find that one that's a little bit hidden at the back and work around that one for the third one. So we've worked 1, 2, 3. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we are working 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 post stitches 2 rows below. We're going to skip a stitch for each of the posts we've worked before working 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We then get to work a front post double crochet left cross this time. So we're going to work over the next 4 post stitches. So this is the order that we're working them is number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4. But this time we're doing a left cross, so we're going to cross in front. We yarn over and work around that So we skip the 2, work around that third post for number 1, number 2 goes around the front post next to it, and then we've got 3 and 4, but this time we're crossing in front, so we're crossing down the front of the fabric and working 1 front post double crochet around each of those posts. So that's 1, and this is the final one of that front post, left cross 4. So we've crossed in front so that this line carries in front this time. We've worked 4 post stitches. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and we're ready to do it once again. I do love how this twist works up. It is intricate. It is a little bit more challenging by working with the post stitches that are behind, where we do those left crosses and those right crosses, but it really is worth it. So let's do this together again. We're going to work 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 post stitches. We worked 1, work 2, we work a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We're then going to work that front post double crochet left cross. So number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4. We're crossing in front because it is a left cross. We yarn over, work that first front post double crochet. The second one goes into the front post next to it, and we're crossing in front for the left cross. So we go under that one, working in front of our fabric. And once again, work around that post stitch next to it. Lovely, we've worked 4 in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches skipped behind. Work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. We are back to our final 5 stitches where we're going to work our front post double crochet left cross 3. So we're aiming for that middle post for the first one, the front post for the second, and finally that third one, just tucked away at the back. We're then going to work 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches. So we have already made it to this point here. Doesn't seem like much, but it does mean there aren't quite as many rows to repeat as most of the other squares, and it really is stunning. So from this point here, for row 12 to 40, you are simply repeating rows 4 to 11 3 more times. You're then going to repeat rows 4 to 8 for a final time. All of the rows are time stamped for you. All of the single crochet rows are exactly the same. I do have a free printable repeat cheat sheet that I wish I'd named anything else. It just means that you can tick off which row you're following as you're following it to make sure you don't get lost and mix up your right cross and your left cross, because that will make sure that you create these winding rows, these winding panels, I guess. So you can see how the right cross causes it to go under, then you do a left cross over the top, a right cross to go under, etc, etc. So go ahead and work those repeats of rows 12 to 40. You're just repeating rows 4 to 11 3 more times, and then repeating row 4 to 8. I'm going to meet you back once you've worked all of those rows so that we can work our final edging together. I'll see you in a moment. You made it. You've done all of those repeats. I am incredibly proud of you. Undone the first stitch. So at the end of row 40, you should have the wrong side of your fabric facing you. To begin your edging, we are going to make a turning chain of 1, and we're going to work back across the top of row 40. So we're going to start in that same stitch as our chain 1, and we are working 1 single crochet into the top of each stitch across row 40 over to the corner, and I will meet you there to continue the rest of our edging. Once you've reached the corner, we are working 2 single crochets. So that's 1 and 2, a chain of 2, and then a further 2 single crochets into that same corner space. We're then going to work across our row ends, working a total of 31 single crochets evenly across. So I'm going to work number 1, 2, and then I'm going to skip 1, and that's number 3. I'm going to skip a row roughly every 3 rows to make sure that by the time I have reached back to this stitch, I've worked 31 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to skip 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, and skip another one. 29, 30, and 31. Once you reach that corner where your slip knot is, we're going to work our corner again. So we work 2 single crochets, so that's number 1, number 2, a chain of 2, and then a further 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. We're then going to work across the other side of our beginning chain, which looks lovely and curly. This edging really does help to straighten all of that out. And I am going to work over my end as well. And we are just working 1 single crochet into the opposite side of our beginning chain, all the way across to our next corner. Once you're back to your next corner, we're doing the same again with 2 single crochets, a chain of 2, and a further 2 single crochets. And then we are ready to work back down the side of our project, working into those row ends, placing 31 single crochets evenly back to where we started our round. Into that last corner, we are just working 2 single crochets, a chain of 2, and then a final single crochet, which we then join to the top of that first single crochet of the round. We can then fasten off and mark that square as complete, apart from the fact it might need a blocking. The joys of these twisty cables. But it is absolutely stunning, and I really hope you feel that it is worth all that hard work, because it is an absolutely stunning square. Now, of course, you do need to make a further 2 of these if you are making your Heritage 8 blanket, and I hope that you are. They really are worth the effort, these squares. You will find a link in the description box and possibly in the top comment where you can find the playlist to make all of the squares in the Cable Comforts Heritage 8. You should feel incredibly proud of yourself for getting this one done. Go ahead, get those ends woven in, get them blocked to 9 inches, and I will see you in the next video.